Part 35. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 342. Wu Yu has always been decisive in doing things. After saying this, he did not want to say more. There are indeed difficulties at the moment, but the key is to cultivate this way calmly and quietly. Brother, I won't let you down. Nangongwei's eyes were also burning like flames, and there seemed to be a gorgeous phoenix flying in the fire. In a few short words, the young promise and the burning passion are all hidden in the chest. Taiwan Novel Network. Rightward arrow. Wu Yu was very satisfied. He gently stroked Nangongwei's head and smiled slightly. Then the two of them returned to the training room hand in hand and sat opposite each other. After practicing like this, they were no different from Taoists. In this silent cave, no one will disturb them in the future. They can promote each other, communicate with each other, understand each other's way, and have someone to accompany them. When they open their eyes, there will be another person working hard with them. This feeling is indeed very good. At least for Wu Yu himself, whenever he sees Nangongwei pursuing her dream of becoming an immortal, he will feel more passionate and fanatical. Imagine how wonderful it would be if one day we could join hands to climb to that fairy palace. This time Wu Yu is going to be even crazier. He has some Canghai Yuan Kai pills in his body. Although there are only a few left, the effect of each Canghai Yuan Kai pill is huge. Now that he has made some progress in Taoism, he feels for those pills in his heart. The feeling of a strong will became clearer and clearer, and he knew in his heart that after a period of precipitation, now was the time to attack the 7th level of the Golden Core realm. He still had 5,000 meritorious deeds that he had not redeemed, so he kept them for the time being. To be honest, Nangongwei had all such resources, but Wu Yu was unwilling to ask her for them, and he was even less willing to own Nangongwei and let more people gossip. Nangongwei stayed here much longer this time. While Wu Yu was making progress, she was also making progress. It was said that she was sprinting to the 2nd level of the Purple Mansion Canghai realm, and at the same time she was also practicing the 2nd level of magical power. It seemed that she was on the upper level. After reaching the Canghai realm of Zifu, you can practice the 2nd magical power. She moves quickly and is certainly busy. The days passed in silence like this. Occasionally, the two would have a telepathic connection. They would open their eyes at the same time, smile knowingly at each other, feel each other's love and attachment, and then continue on their journey. Now Nangongwei is indeed better than she was before. She is more serious. I remember that when Wu Yu was practicing, she would always play beside him. Now she seems to be a different person. This time it took half a year for Wu Yu to reach the 7th level of the Golden Core realm. Naturally, we are one step closer to the Canghai realm of Zi Mansion. The limit of Nangongwei's normal combat power is the 3rd level of Zifu Canghai realm. Wu Yu feels that he is already chasing Nangongwei. However, I just breathed a sigh of relief. Within 2 days, Nangongwei changed. Her aura surged out vastly, and her body was covered by the 9-colored flames. At that moment, she really turned into a fire phoenix. In this colorful flame there was a piercing cry that made the entire Kishan Cave mansion tremble. After it was over, she told Wu Yu that she had reached the 2nd level of Zifu Canghai realm. Indeed, it is difficult to catch up with her. However, there is still a long time to come, and as long as Nangongwei is not willing, no one can force her to become a Taoist couple with others. It is estimated that Baishan Mo should also have achieved such a state, so Wu Yu's promotion this time does not seem to have narrowed the distance between him and them. He was still not in a hurry and continued to think about it, but his next focus was on the outlaw clones of the great magical power. If the clones' abilities and number increased, it would actually be of great benefit to him, especially in some comparisons. A chaotic combat environment can play a big role. The practice and improvement of outlaw clones mainly focus on the cultivation of these clones themselves. When Wu Yu was pondering this great magical power, he summoned all those clones and arranged them behind him, all with the same clothes and appearance as him, even the look is exactly the same. This was the first time Nangongwei saw these clones, so she was a little surprised and said, "I heard that with your magical power, you can create up to 5 clones, but I didn't expect it to be 10. Wu Yu smiled lightly and said, 10 is just the beginning. Once you practice deeply, there will be no problem with 100 or even more. So many, Nangongwei has seen many terrifying magical powers, but this is the first time she heard of this. She was a little curious and asked, "Is this the magical power of the transformation Taoist created for you?" This transformation Taoist, he is really a mysterious senior. Brother, there may be hope of becoming an immortal in the future. Yet in fact, Wu Yu found that Nangongwei didn't think too highly of herself. At least she felt that her future achievements would be higher. But in fact, this is understandable. After all, she has countless resources behind her, and now she has the Kwang Sword Emperor cultivation, coupled with the vigorous cultivation of the Xuanhuan Immortal sect. Even a Fandan disciple knew that Nangongwei would be at the level of the 7 Immortals of Xuanhuan in the future, while Wu Yu had too many uncertainties. Therefore, Wu Yu didn't blame her. After all, he didn't tell her that he had the inheritance of an immortal. In the future, if we get closer, Wu Yu will no longer hide anything from her. Now that he has reached a higher level, the limit of the extra-legal clones has also been raised. Each clone requires a large amount of elixirs to improve rapidly. Wu Yu exchanged all his achievements into Yuan Jindan, which he spent on the extra-legal clones. When all his property was gone, he finally raised his extra-legal clone to the limit. However, Wu Yu also wants to upgrade this magical power to the 2nd level. In that case, the abilities of these 10 clones can still be improved. When combined, they may be able to play a greater role in battle. This requires calming down and understanding the outlaw clone on a deeper level. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. The biggest change from the 1st level to the 2nd level is the degree of compatibility with the clones and the degree of understanding of the clones. My control over them must be more perfect, and their abilities will become more powerful. In fact, as long as we think deeply about it, with Wu Yu's current level, it is not difficult to achieve the 2nd level of this great power. With his current understanding, he can easily win it. The so-called clone is the transformation of the hair on my body. It is originally a part of my body, but it has more functions. In the final analysis, they are still me, they are part of me. My arms, even more powerful than my arms, have greater effects. I should command them beyond my ability to command my arms. You need to think clearly about the relationship between your avatar and yourself before you can take the next step. On top of the golden elixir was the brand of Great Dao divine power. Wu Yu thought hard, worked hard with his clones, repeatedly cooperated with each other, and practiced together. Finally, on the basis of this brand, another layer was added, allowing this magical brand becomes more complicated. At this time, Wu Yu's outlaw clone had actually reached the 2nd level. At this level, the elixir in each clone has almost reached the same level as Wu Yu. Wu Yu is now at the 7th level of the golden elixir, but the nature and total amount of its golden elixir is almost equal to the ordinary golden elixir at the Dao realm. 9 levels, so the limit of growth of clones should also be like this. If it can be done, the combined force of 10 clones can indeed be compared with Wu Yu, especially these clones, like Wu Yu, can use the mysterious art of heaven and earth, Xianxian shocking sword technique. However, for the time being, there is a huge problem, that is, if you want to raise these 10 clones to the level of perfection, in addition to long-term tempering of golden elixirs, if you want to achieve it quickly, you will definitely need a large amount of Yuanjin elixirs. Or Kanghai Yuankai pill. Wu Yu has just spent all the achievements he just earned. Now is the time to be poor again. Therefore, he decided to go to Wushuan Sword Sea again to earn some achievements and hone his clones. When he finished his training and told Nangongwei that he needed a large amount of Yuan Jindan, Nangongwei naturally wanted to give it to him directly. The resources on her hands were endless, but they saved Wu Yu a lot of time. But Wu Yu thought about it and finally decided to rely on himself. "Why are you so stubborn? Brother, don't all my things belong to you," Nangongwei advised him. This is the truth, but he is afraid that after taking too much, he will form a habit and he will not be able to pass the hurdle in his heart. Wu Yu's way is an aloof way. Wu Yu chose to go to Wushuan Sword Sea again. Nangongwei happened to be trying out her second magical power, so the two of them walked together. Now too many people in Shushan are paying attention to their movements. As long as they come out of Kishan Cave, the news will spread. After Baishan Mo asked Nangongwei to drive him away last time, he didn't bother him again. However, after he came out, he heard that he had been on a mission recently and had killed many demons and defeated geniuses from other sections. He was already famous, shocking the world. Of course, Wu Yu is even more enviable because he has a beautiful woman in his arms. Together, they escaped the attention of many people and quietly entered the Wushuan Sword Sea. The two were not separated. The sword puppets would also come to find them separately, basically fighting separately. When Wu Yu and the sword puppets were fighting, Nangongwei, as she watched, she was actually surprised to see that Wu Yu had such combat power at the 7th level of the Golden Core realm. At least in this aspect, she couldn't do it. Their attributes are all biased toward flames, so when Nangongwei fights with the sword puppet, Wu Yu will gain a lot if he watches the battle more. However, Wu Yu's most important purpose this time is to earn merit and exchange Yuan Jindan to feed his clone. However, the method he adopted this time was not to directly exchange Yuan Jindan with attacks, but to exchange the materials for refining Yuan Jindan, and then refine Yuan Jindan himself. With such 10,000 achievements, it is possible to create more than 20,000 Yuan Jindan. Yuan Jindan. Refining the elixir is also beneficial to Wu Yu's enlightenment and is not a waste of time. Nangongwei discovered that Wu Yu was more accomplished than her in refining alchemy and drawing magic circles. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 343. This time, Wu Yu and Nangongwei stayed in Wushuan Sword Sea for more than a year. Wu Yu defeated nearly 100 sword puppets in total and obtained 60,000 merits. As for Nangongwei, although she defeated less than half of the sword puppets Wu Yu defeated, her opponent was powerful and valuable, so the total amount reached 60,000. She wanted to give these 60,000 sword hearts to Wu Yu, saying, "This is not given to me by my father, but the merits I earned through my own efforts. I want to give it to you, and you can't refuse." In fact, Wu Yu just rejected the things of Qiang's sword immortal. When Nangongwei looked at him expectantly and sincerely, Wu Yu felt that he had to accept this gift. Nangongwei didn't have to fight the sword puppets here, but since she did so, it was naturally for Wu Yu. Wu Yu remembered this thought in his heart. So Wu Yu had a total of 120,000 merits, which was an unprecedented wealth. He first exchanged 40,000 alchemy materials, and then the two returned to Kishan Cave Mansion. Nangongwei continued to ponder her second magical power, while Wu Yu was refining in the alchemy room. He spent 2 months refining Yuan Jindan continuously and repeated this process. Basically, every time he refined a furnace of Yuan Jindan, he directly refined it for his clones. As his skills became more proficient, he refined Yuan Jindan faster and faster. At first, it took half a day to produce a furnace, but later it took only a quarter of an hour. This also shows that he has made outstanding progress in his understanding of Tao. Although he continuously refined the elixir, it was just an ordinary Yuan Jindan, but each time he carefully manipulated it and performed the same steps hundreds of thousands of times, he naturally had a divine feeling. 3 months later, he had refined all the materials, consumed countless immortal spirits, and the failure rate was very low. It is estimated that the total number of Yuan Jindan he refined was as many as 70,000 or 80,000. However, all these Yuan Jindan had been eaten by 10 clones at this time. It was so difficult to raise 10 clones now. Wu Yu really couldn't imagine how to feed endless clones in the future. Fortunately, the harvest in the end was also huge. The 10 clones were basically on par with Wu Yu in terms of Danyuan. Although they were still easily defeated and had little resistance, at least their attack power was amazing. Just talking about the combat power of their 10 sieges, they could definitely defeat Mu Lynch. As for where their limits were, they would have to experience real battles to know. The lawless clones really didn't disappoint Wu Yu. Now the performance of the clones was stronger than Wu Yu expected at the beginning, especially the Danyuan part. Any one of them could directly compete with Wu Yu in terms of Danyuan. After all, they were accumulated by Wu Yu with a lot of wealth and hard work. As for Nangong Wei, they had been together day and night, and they had long regarded each other as relatives. Qiang's sword immortal did not seem to disturb Nangong Wei, so she could continue to stay in Kishan Cave Mansion. However, she looked worried recently, so Wu Yu knew that she would not stay for long. Qiang's sword immortal would definitely want her to experience more effective training and improvement. For example, Baishan Mo has been slaying demons and monsters recently. Now he is at the peak of his career. It is said that his cultivation level has approached the 3rd level of Upper Purple Mansion Kanghai Realm. His progress should be faster than Nangong Wei. I guess Qiang's sword immortal will be anxious. Wu Yu is not a fool. Judging from the current situation, Qiang's sword immortal will obviously hate him. If it weren't for him, how could Nangong Wei waste time with him? Sure enough, not long after, that day, Wu Yu was pondering the 8th level of the Golden Core Realm, and Nangong Wei was also advancing to the 3rd level of the Purple Mansion Kanghai Realm. Suddenly, someone outside the Kishan Cave Mansion said, "Nangong Wei, I am here on the orders of the Qiang Sword Immortal to take you to perform the Immortal Gate mission." This was a woman's voice, cold and pure, reminiscent of a white lotus, holy and inviolable. From her voice, it was obvious that she was a strong man, at least stronger than Nangong Wei. No, Nangong Wei responded decisively without opening her eyes. "Sister Nangong, you can't waste time here. This is not good for you." This time, the 6th master is a little angry. If you are still stubborn, he is afraid that he will come out in person. This Kishan Cave Mansion is a barren place, which will only delay you. You should go out to kill monsters like me. Isn't your wish to kill monsters? How can you delay your best time here because of a useless waste? Baishan Mo's voice was anxious, and his words were extremely indignant. He has arrived too. For Nangong Wei, every point Baishan Mo said was undoubtedly disturbing. She opened her eyes and stood up. Wu Yu was standing in front of her at this time. "Go, it's enough for you and I to be connected in heart. It doesn't have to be together day and night. I don't want to delay your progress. If you come back, come and see me again." Wu Yu patted her shoulders gently and said with a smile. Brother Nangong Wei hesitated for a while, and finally nodded. She had considered in her heart that if she continued to waste time here, her father would not agree. Since the last time she came here, she has been with Wu Yu for more than 2 years. Her progress is indeed not as fast as Baishan Mo. Now it is rumored in Shushan that Wu Yu will harm Nangong Wei. Now many people in this fairy gate are full of complaints about Wu Yu. They hope that the future Shushan fairy gate will be stronger. After saying goodbye, Nangong Wei reluctantly turned around and left. After walking only 2 steps, her eyes suddenly lit up and she quickly turned back and said, "Brother, I'm too stupid. I can definitely take you out with me. Let's practice together and see the world. The scenery of the continent doesn't hinder your practice, right?" This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. Wu Yu has indeed not been out for a long time, and he also wants to go out for a walk after all. Xuanhuan Immortal Gate is their harbor, and it is a place where life is basically not in danger. But the outside is different. There is a mixture of fish and dragons. In addition to demons, there are also various forces. The invisible struggle is even more thrilling. It's just that some time ago, I was either in the sprint state or nourishing my body. After hearing Nangongwei's words, Wu Yu thought for a moment. He didn't want Mr. Baishan Mo to stick to Nangongwei, so he nodded and said, "If possible, I will go with him." Great for Nangongwei, this was the best of both worlds. She quickly came up, took Wu Yu's arm, and leaned on Wu Yu's shoulder intimately. The two of them walked out of Kishan Cave Mansion and opened their eyes. There were 6 people outside, including Baishan Mo. Anyone who can be on the same team as the Xuanhuan wizard Baishan Mo is naturally the top genius. Except for a woman leading the team who is estimated to be over 100 years old, the others should all be Earth Sword level disciples, and the highest age is no more than 50. They are all graceful and noble, needless to say, they are all descendants of Xuanhuan Sword Master level. There was also an acquaintance among them, and that was Mu Lingch. Among this group of people, Mu Lingch was only worthy of standing in the corner and was probably the weakest. But obviously, after 2 years of hard work, she successfully broke through to the Kanghai realm of Zifu and became an Earth Sword level disciple. She made great progress and her status jumped instantly. Her circle also jumped directly from Xiao Huanshan and others to Baishan Mo. The circle has come. The woman leading the team probably played a role like Hideo Zi, but the level was definitely different. This woman is dressed in a long white dress, as holy as a lotus. Although she has at least 100 years of monastic life, she looks to be the age of a mortal woman in her 20s, which is the age when she is charming, with her round breasts and round breasts. Her thighs and charming face all make young people excited. Of course, her serious expression and holy posture also make people admire her and dare not blaspheme her. Adding Nangongwei, it was obvious that this was an Earth Sword level team, and the team leader should be responsible for protecting them, or assisting in making some decisions. Wu Yu estimated that such a person should be a heavenly sword level disciple. Of course, although she is the leader and the strongest person in the team, she is obviously not the core of the team. The core of the team is Baishan Mo. Now this woman is just standing sideways next to Baishan Mo, basically looking indifferent to everyone. Facing Baishan Mo alone, a gentle look suddenly appeared on his face. It could even be said to be flattering, surrounding Baishan Mo. Baishan Mo didn't know Nangongwei's decision yet, but when he saw her finally leaving Kishan Cave Mansion, he suddenly smiled. His youthful sunshine was now 20 years old, much more mature, more majestic, handsome, and unrestrained, in terms of appearance and temperament. Although he is a man, he is still at the level of Nangongwei. No matter there are tens of millions of people, as long as he comes, he will definitely be the core of all living beings. Sister Nangong, you finally figured it out. I'm just saying, you will feel such an obvious difference. Baishan Mo smiled knowingly. What nonsense! Nangongwei glared at him, then looked at the woman leading the team and said, "Li Chugzio, I want to take him with me on this mission." Nangongwei spoke with a particularly dignified tone now. Even when facing this heavenly sword-level disciple, she was decisive and could not refuse. The woman named Li Chugzio was startled. She did not dare to offend Nangongwei and could only look at Baishan Mo as expected. Baishan Mo objected first and said, "This is absolutely impossible. This mission was personally arranged by the 6th Master. Only 6 of us can participate, and certain Xuanhuan secrets are involved. This Wu Yu is just an ordinary Xuanjian level disciple, far from being qualified to enter the core of our immortal sect, and his background is unclear. Who knows if he is a demon or a demon? Is he an undercover ghost cultivator? So, he is not qualified to go." Li Chugzio agreed, "That's right. I don't agree with him joining. He is far from qualified to handle such a level of tasks. After all, this is what Qiang Sword Immortal arranged for you personally. Even Mu Lingch did the same. It's so gracious to join the team. Mu Lingch's parents are Shushan sword masters, so they are eligible to join, but Wu Yu. The others waited, although they did not speak, but they were obviously reluctant. Nangang Wei's eyes turned cold, and finally she looked at Baishan Mo and said, "Sure, if he doesn't go, I won't go either. Come to me again when you figure it out." After finishing speaking, she held Wu Yu's arm and walked back without looking back. Wu Yu saw that Baishan Mo was finally shaking with anger, so he winked and smiled at him. "When you are angry, your Taoist mind will not be so stable." "Sure, but I want to see if he is qualified," Baishan Mo said. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 344. It's a joke to call it a test, it's just that Baishan Mo was still unwilling to let Wu Yu follow, so he was making a last-ditch effort. Since meeting Baishan Mo last time, Wu Yu and Nangang Wei have been getting along day and night. Now is the only chance for them to separate. Baishan Mo came happily, but he did not expect that Wu Yu was still lingering. Perhaps because of what the Qingming Sword Emperor said to him, Baishan Mo calmed down and said, "For this mission of ours, anyone in the team must have the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm, otherwise even the simplest if you don't have the ability to protect yourself, not only will you be in danger, but you will also harm others and reduce the team's combat effectiveness. Therefore, if you want to participate, you must show decent ability." In fact, he still refused Wu Yu to go, but he did not directly refuse Nangang Wei, but used another method to target Wu Yu. Putting it this way, if Wu Yu knew he couldn't do it but insisted on following her, that would be a lack of self-awareness and it would make him embarrassed in front of Nangang Wei. Li Chugxiu understood and said solemnly to Wu Yu, "You want to think it over yourself. Don't drag everyone back because of you. It will also affect Nangang Wei's performance and delay her future. I also suggest that there is not enough, it's better to have some ability and self-awareness." Naturally, they knew that Nangang Wei was difficult to deal with, so they turned to provoke Wu Yu. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. Several other people also made sarcastic remarks. They had been together with Baishan Mo for a long time, and they were all descendants of the Sword Master. Naturally, they sided with Baishan Mo, which made Nangang Wei feel unworthy. Even Mu Lingch dared to sneer and said, "I don't know where the toad came from. He really thinks that he can eat swan meat, and he doesn't look in the mirror to see what kind of virtue he is." The defeat to Wu Yu in the Wushuan Sword Sea battle was a scandal that was hard for him to swallow. From then on, he suffered day and night, relying on the anger and unwillingness in his chest, and finally sprinted to the Zifu Kanghai realm. In fact, if he hadn't heard that Nangang Wei had been, she had already come to Wu Yu's door to avenge her shame. Now that she has seized the opportunity, she will naturally not give up humiliating Wu Yu, sentence after sentence. Let him go, so that everyone can see what a fool this loser is. Although he is good at talking about love and making people happy, he comes from such a humble background and his parents are mortals. No matter how hard he works, after some time, it will just make people laugh out loud. When Mu Lingch spoke, the fragrance of flowers overflowed, and the petals of exquisite flowers were flying around him, like fluttering butterflies. "Shut up!" Nangang Wei got angry and shouted, causing everyone including Li Chugxiu to shut up. "Brother, ignore them, let's go back." If it wasn't arranged by Qiang Sword Immortal, Nangang Wei actually didn't want to go at all. "No." Wu Yu took her finger and held it in his hand, shook his head slightly and said, "Someone provokes me, How can I just retreat in spite of the difficulties? If others say something bad about me, forget it. After all, they are better than me. However, one of my defeated generals is also talking shamelessly. I have to slap her. Of course he was talking about Mu Lingch. What she said was unpleasant, and she didn't give Wu Yu any face at all. She even wanted to force Wu Yu to do something with her so that she could find a chance to avenge her shame. Even Baishan Mo and the others were attracting. Wu Yu took the initiative to fight with one of them. If Wu Yu took the initiative, they could humiliate him. In this case, even if Wu Yu wanted to follow him, he would not have the face. Did I hear you correctly? Do you want to challenge me in the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm? Mu Lingch tilted his head and smiled as expected. A closer look showed that Wu Yu seemed to have reached the 7th level of the Golden Core realm and had made progress. However, Mu Lingch knew better that there was an essential difference between the Zifu Kanghai realm and the Golden Core realm. She felt as if she had experienced it transformed. Once the obstacles in the way have been cleared, Wei and I can stay together forever. You are just the first one. Wu Yu and Nangong Wei looked at each other. They looked at each other sweetly, and even clasped their fingers together with understanding. A smile, such a tacit understanding, made Baishan Mo's eyes turn red, unable to control his restless temper. However, the Qingming Sword Emperor on his neck would often control him when he was about to go crazy, and let him resist murderous intent. Haha. Mu Lingcheng sneered a few times, and then asked for help, saying, "Senior Sister Li, please agree to let me test Wu Yu to see how much he has tried his best and is worthy of joining us." Li Chugxia crossed her arms, her breasts straightened up, her face was cold and charming, and she said, "That's okay, if Wu Yu can still fight against the Zifu Kanghai realm, and with a series of conditions such as his young age, he is indeed qualified to fight. Let's do it together. But if we lose, it's better to be self-aware and stop it. Don't make a joke in the end and make people laugh. There are many people in this world who not only don't become lovers in the end, but also become enemies." Yes. Needless to say, everyone else withdrew, leaving Mu Lingch alone to face Nangong Wei and Wu Yu. Nangong Wei smiled coldly and went behind Wu Yu. In fact, she and Wu Yu practiced together, and there were some trial-type confrontations during the period, which made her very clear about Wu Yu's strength. Although it was not as good as her and Baishan Mo, but in any case, his talent is higher than that of Mu Lingch. Wu Yu really had no patience at all when he dueled with this woman for the 3rd time. He directly pulled out 2 super spiritual instruments, which were given by Nangong Wei. On the Haoshan Sun Wheel sword in his right hand, the scorching sun was flowing, and the anger was surging. The slender sword body and hilt could be used as a spear. The Moon Dance clear sky sword was held behind his back with his left hand. The dark blue moonlight was surging, but it was hidden in the sunlight, so it was not so obvious. Both are super spiritual instruments. Of course, because they were given by Nangong Wei, almost everyone in the Shushan Immortal sect knew about it. Mu Lingch had just entered the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm. Before that, he had been practicing the heaven and earth mystic arts. His sword was still the Peony Flower Fairy sword, which was also a super spiritual instrument, but its value was not as good as the Haoshan Sun Wheel sword. Mu Lingch laughed slyly and raised his sword. The sword energy was solemn. In an instant, it was as if an endless sea of flowers spread out, making Wu Yu completely in a world of flowers. Let me show you how powerful the mysterious art of heaven and earth is. How huge is the gap between the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm and the Golden Core Avenue realm? Mu Lingch shouted loudly and attacked swiftly. His Peony Flower Fairy sword exploded and turned into an endless, sharp petals covering the sky and the earth. This mysterious art of heaven and earth is indeed extraordinary. It is for this reason that Baishan Mo entrusted the task of intercepting Wu Yu to her with confidence, and naturally he had a certain understanding of it. Junior Sister Mu is indeed quite good. I remember that when I was her age, although I had just entered the Purple Mansion Kanghai realm, It took me more than a year to figure out the first heaven and earth mystical art, which was much longer than him. It is said that he was defeated by Wu Yu's sneak attack before, and he was ashamed of it. It seems that he wants to avenge himself today. Before they finished speaking, Wu Yu suddenly attacked in front of Mu Lingch at a critical moment. He rushed forward suddenly, his whole body turned into a golden light, and a shining trajectory was drawn in the air. Where the Haoshan sun will sword passed, it was like the scorching sun passing through the sky, burning with golden fire. Xianxian shocking sword technique. Wu Yu's immortal root yin-yang sword heart played a role at this moment, and his whole body of Dan Yuan, even the huge strength of his flesh, could be divided into two, and used at the same time. At the same time, he performed two Xianxian shocking sword techniques. But the two swordsmanships are not exactly the same. The sword that was performed with the Haoshan Sun Will sword had some changes in its formation, so the real soul-stirring sword had already melted into the flame of the sword. For a moment, everyone could only see the hot flame condensed into a giant sword that pierced through, burning everything along the way. The other sword was melted into the dark blue moon shadow, accompanying the glory of the sun, and it was even less obvious. In fact, when this Xianxian soul-stirring sword art was performed, everyone present had no idea at all, and did not even see that it was a kind of heaven and earth mysterious art. They just sneered, and even couldn't wait to see Wu Yu make a fool of himself. Even, seriously injured. At least, this is what Baishan Mo told Mu Lingch. It's still a piece of trash. Mu Lingch thought it was Wu Yu's Haoshan blazing sun sword formation and dark moon withered sword formation. She had been defeated by these two swords and had studied them long ago. Now seeing Wu Yu perform them again, she was immediately happy, and her murderous intent in her heart became even stronger. Unexpectedly, when she completed the first heaven and earth mystic art and was about to destroy Wu Yu with one sword, Wu Yu's two swords suddenly increased in speed and confronted her head-on in an instant. This still did not move Mu Lingch. Until she easily destroyed the sword energy of the Haoshan Sun Will sword, she suddenly felt a sharp pain in her head and her whole body was like a spasm. She knew how terrible Wu Yu was. What she saw was all a trick. The real Xianxian shocking sword art is a sword art that hides under the trick and pierces the opponent's soul in the moment of confrontation. Mu Lingch was not prepared at all, so she was stabbed twice by Wu Yu. She screamed almost instantly, her eyes rolled back, and she was dizzy. She spread her hands and feet in the air and was about to fall towards the mortal sword domain. Even if Wu Yu used more strength, he could kill her. Although she did reach the purple mansion Kanghai realm, her mana increased greatly, completely surpassing Wu Yu, and she also learned a mysterious art of heaven and earth. But, fighting is silent, as long as there is no absolute huge gap, anything can happen on the battlefield. Just like at this moment, Mu Lingch was unconscious in an instant, and was finally sent to Baishan Mo by Wu Yu, so that he would not fall into the mortal sword realm and be smashed to pieces. When Baishan Mo caught her, the battle was over. Wu Yu bowed and smiled, saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't expect that the purple mansion Kanghai realm could be so useless, so I hit a little harder, please don't be surprised." However, after defeating this Mu Lingch, it seems that everyone has no objection to my joining the team mobile user. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 345. Mu Lingch was seriously injured and fell into coma. He was sweating profusely and even had nightmares. Baishan Mo hurriedly gave the beauty in his arms to Li Chugxiu, and then looked at Wu Yu. Wu Yu saw that his eyes had turned blood red and aggressive. It seems that he is still young after all, his mood fluctuates easily, and he loses his sense of proportion when he is angry. Wu Yu understood in his heart. However, even at this juncture, Baishan Mo's expression still recovered quickly, and he became calm soon after. He even raised his hands and said to Wu Yu, "I didn't expect you to be quite capable. I underestimated you before. Forget it, This time I went out to practice. I won't stop you. It only took a few breaths to go from being extremely angry, almost going crazy, wanting to peel off skin and bones, to being calm again. It can only be said that with the assistance of the Qingming Sword Emperor, this Baishan Mo is indeed very difficult to deal with, very difficult to deal with. Wu Yu felt as if he had met a fatal enemy in fate. While he was making progress, he was even making progress. Bigger than myself. Brother Nangongwei smiled happily, and in full view of everyone, she put her arms around Wu Yu's waist and said affectionately, "That's great. With you by my side, this experience won't be too boring." The situation has become such that even the team leader Li Chugxiu is depressed. She would like to see Baishan Mo still refuse, but obviously Wu Yu defeated Mu Lingch in accordance with Baishan Mo's request. Now Baishan Mo can only admit it honestly. He could only snort coldly, and in a blink of an eye, he was standing next to Bei Shanmo with a bright smile, whispering. After the two communicated, another disciple took the unconscious Mu Lingch and prepared to go out. They were all in the top positions, so they didn't need to pass through the mountain gate. Instead, they flew out directly, and their movements were concealed. Obviously they didn't want to be publicized. As soon as she left Shushan, Mu Lingch woke up. Although her head still hurt, when she saw Nangongwei and Wu Yu chatting and laughing behind them, while Li Chugxiu and others had expressionless faces, she knew it was solved. This made her mood violently turbulent and her eyes were dull. When she looked at Wu Yu again, she couldn't help but tremble in her heart. The invisible sting was too traumatizing to her. This is obviously an effect that can only be achieved by the mystic arts of heaven and earth. Even if Wu Yu can control super-spiritual magic weapons, he can even use the mystical arts of heaven and earth. What's the difference between him and ordinary people in the Kanghai realm of Zifu? The more she compares, the more desperate Mu Lingch becomes. She feels that she will never have the chance to avenge her past humiliation in this life. However, a flash can make a mountain rise. Wu Yu is so high profile, he will be killed by Baishan Mo sooner or later. Baishan Mo may look immature, but he is actually very scheming. In comparison, Mu Lingch was more afraid of Baishan Mo, so she was cautious and kept silent when she woke up. Although her head still hurt, she still insisted on following the team. There were several people in total, and Yu Jian was walking quietly in the thick clouds and mist. The direction turned out to be north, toward Shu Mountain, which was an endless sea of demons. Wu Yu was slightly alert and said to Nangongwei, "It's time for the sword-level disciples to announce what the mission you are performing this time is." Nangongwei actually had this intention, so she and Wu Yu sped up, and arrived in front of Li Chugxiu in a few steps. Nangongwei said, "Li Chugxiu, aren't you going to tell us the details of this mission?" "I don't want to." Confused. In fact, if it hadn't been for Wu Yu, she would have explained it clearly before leaving Kishan Cave Mansion. Li Chugxiu did not dare to go against Nangongwei, so she slowed down a little and said, "The location of this mission is in Yin Yang Mountain. In fact, the tasks they mentioned are more important for training a group of them. People who spend their entire lives hiding in the Immortal sect and cultivating Taoism are unlikely to be promising. They lack a lot of practical experience, insights, and the ability to handle things, so the elders will arrange them well." Experience. Of course, Wu Yu knew with his knees that as soon as Baishan Mo and Nangongwei left the Shushan Immortal Gate, they would be secretly protected by the top experts. Li Chugxiu was just a heavenly sword-level leader who was responsible for handling some trivial matters. As for Yin Yang Mountain, Wu Yu knew something about it. It was a continuous mountain range close to the endless demonic sea. The side close to Shushan was illuminated by the sun and had lush vegetation, while the side adjacent to the endless demonic sea was dark and dry. It was one mountain with two features, so it is called Yin Yang Mountain. This is a desolate land and a buffer zone between human and demon forces. It is normally uninhabited. The place where Wu Yu last met Wushan Xueqi was near Yin-Yang Mountain. The most important part of the so-called mission is to train a group of their geniuses. Wu Yu didn't know why the training location was set so close to the endless demon sea, but obviously this is the place where demons are most likely to appear. What to do in Yin-Yang Mountain? Nangang Wei asked. Li Chugxiu answered 1,510 times, under the Yin-Yang Mountain, there has always been the Biluan gold mine belonging to our immortal sect, but it has never been mined. The Xianmen recently sent people to mine it, and it is said that this Biluan gold mine was discovered. The quality is surprisingly high. There are 3 spiritual patterns on the outside. Therefore, it is estimated that there may be a Biluan Jinqing inside, and there should be more than 5 spiritual patterns, or even 6 spiritual patterns. Therefore, I was asked to wait and sit in until this Biluan gold the mine is mostly mined. Treasures in the world, many plants and trees, born in heaven and earth, are called fairy spirits. Most of them are used to make elixirs, but they can also be used alone. There are also many minerals, gold and stones, etc. Most of them are born underground and have been nourished by spiritual energy for countless years. They are called treasures. The more the spiritual energy nourishes the core, the more spiritual patterns there are. This Biluan gold mine is a treasure vein. Generally, when sects find treasure veins, they will mine them secretly, send a large number of manpower to occupy them, and even trigger wars between sections. After all, this is the material for making magic weapons, which is of great significance to each section. For example, there are many immortal sects in Xuanhuan. The magical weapons are all forged by their elders, using these precious materials. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Nangang Wei was slightly shocked and said, if King Biluan has 5 spiritual lines, he can make several super spiritual magic weapons. If he has 6 spiritual lines, he can even make them by the 7 immortals to produce the most top-notch super spiritual magic weapon, or even a Taoist weapon. Speaking of which, this training mission is indeed quite important. If it has 5 spirit patterns, it is an average level. If it has 6 spirit patterns, it will indeed be higher, because if the information is leaked, it may attract demons to covet it. After all, we are on the edge of the endless demonic sea. Of course, the same treasure with 6 spiritual patterns is definitely not as important as the life of anyone in the team present. Therefore, although it is important, it can be seen that the main function of this task is to achieve the purpose of training for Nangang Wei and others. We just need to go and station here to ensure that the Biluan gold mine is mined, Li Chugxiu said. After learning about it, Nangang Wei and Wu Yu followed the team. Wu Yu thought for a while and felt that it was not a big deal. However, after learning that the mission location was at Yin-Yang Mountain, Nangang Wei's expression changed a little. She fell silent and stared in the direction of the endless demon sea. Blood gradually surged in her eyes. The hatred seems to be rising little by little. What's wrong? Wu Yu took her white palm and whispered in her ear. Brother, I have been dreaming about my mother recently. Maybe she wants me to do something. Nangang Wei looked into the distance and gritted her teeth. Wu Yu hesitated for a moment and remembered that her mother was killed by a demon. She was the wife of Qiang's sword immortal. What demon could kill her? My father told me that the one who killed my mother was the demon king, the infant emperor. One day, I will cut this infant emperor into pieces, so that he will never be reincarnated, and let my mother live in the 9 springs. Now, I can rest in peace. Speaking of this, Nangang Wei choked up several times, and her eyes became more bloodshot. Revenge for killing his mother, many beautiful memories of his mother, and his father crying countless times, these images kept reappearing in his mind. Infant Emperor. Wu Yu's heart trembled. He is indeed a demonic big shot. He is Zhu father. Wu Yu felt depressed, and suddenly felt that God was playing a joke on him. Zhu is a good person. I heard that his father is very cruel and the enemy of all ascetics. He killed the wife of Qiang's sword immortal. It should not be wrong. Brother, if one day comes, will you help me? Nangongwei suddenly stared at him, looking a little excited. Wu Yu was stunned for a moment. He was thinking that if he killed the infant emperor, wouldn't he become Zhu Ying's father-killing enemy? How does this make him face Zhu Ying? Therefore, he failed to answer at the first time. Nangongwei was slightly disappointed and asked again, actually, I also know that you may be afraid of him. After all, he is the king of demons. He is more powerful than any of the 7 immortals of Xuanhuan. Then, brother, you will at least support me. Right. Wu Yu knew very well that Nangongwei was not unkind to him. This kind of love was rare. She ignored Bei Shan Mo, fought against her father, and even against Xu Shan, just to be with him. She was definitely someone who could not be let down. As for Zhu Ying, although he is a rare friend, he is still not as important as Nangongwei. If he really has to make a choice and just supports her revenge, Wu Yu will certainly choose to support her. After all, everyone has the right to revenge. Therefore, he gave Nangongwei a satisfactory answer. He said, it is only natural to kill someone to pay for your life. The infant emperor killed your mother ruthlessly, so naturally he will not escape the retribution of karma. She is above board. Wu Yu was not familiar with Xuanhuan. He only hoped that if such a day came, Zhu Ying would not be implicated. After all, he was innocent. Wu Yu understands him. Zhu Ying is a very unique demon. Wu Yu has always felt that life belongs to him. Even though he is the son of the infant emperor, it does not mean that he is also the one who will be avenged. Nangongwei was in tears. She said, I'm afraid that after I have paid so much for you, you will stop me in the end because of your kindness. If that happens, I will be really disappointed, heartbroken, and... Stop talking, I won't stop you. Wu Yu covered her mouth. Mobile phone users. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 346. Things in the world are unpredictable, and it is difficult for Wu Yu to imagine what will happen to him in the future. Nangongwei treats herself this way, but actually she should help her and even avenge her. It's just that at this stage, even Nangongwei herself doesn't believe that Wu Yu can surpass her. Therefore, she wanted to rely more on herself in this matter. As for Wu Yu, she just had to not stop him. The journey to Yin Yang Mountain brought ups and downs to Nangongwei's mood. Wu Yu could deeply feel that the closer it got, the hatred in her heart would continue to grow. How much she loved her mother in the past, she would now love her so much. The monster of hatred. Sister Nangong, during this trip, I will kill all the demons, sacrifice my blood to the sky, and avenge the 6th Master's mother. One day, I will conquer the endless sea of demons and send the infant emperor into 10,000 hells, so that he will not even die. No peace. Baishan Mo was not far away, his loyalty was overwhelming, and he said categorically. Nangongwei nodded. They have grown up together and understand each other. In this regard, Baishan Mo is more positive and decisive than Wu Yu. In fact, Wu Yu sometimes wavers. He is clearly a human being and a cultivator. Why does he sometimes think about things from the standpoint of a demon? He didn't know if this meant betraying his own ethnic group, or even being sorry to the Xuanhuan immortal sect who nurtured him. It's just that when he was young, the impact that the 9 immortals had on him in his sleep was too heavy. All beings are equal. In fact, their time was very tight, so while maintaining concealment, they quickly flew through endless mountains and rivers, shuttled through countless strange mountains and abyss, and flew over many small sects in caves and paradises. Finally, they saw the endless demonic sea rolling in the north. The endless black ocean lying across the sky, the pungent miasma, can even cover up the demonic energy, so who can know how many demons are hidden in this endless demonic sea? Some monsters, after opening their spiritual wisdom and hearing about the endless sea of demons, tried their best just to come here and enter the Holy Land in their minds. Not far away under the vast, eerie black ocean is the Yin-Yang Mountain. The south side of Yin-Yang Mountain is lush and lush, while the north is affected by the endless demonic sea, and all life is dead, dark and damp. Yin-Yang Mountain is very big. It is actually a long and continuous mountain range. It is said that the Bilyuan gold mine is also entrenched under it according to the trend of the mountain range. The number is much larger than the initial survey. If the entire mineral vein is taken, moving back is also a great wealth for Xuanhuan immortal sect, especially the core part, the existence of King Bilyuan. Now the miners of Shu Mountain are at the core of Yin-Yang Mountain, directly above King Bilyuan. When Wu Yu and others approached, they found that there were at least dozens of miners under a huge pit. They directly used magical tools to cut out the Bilyuan gold mine below and put it into the sumuru bag. Beside the pit, there are more than a dozen Xuanhuan disciples holding swords. Judging from their clothes, most of them are Xuanjian level disciples. They are scattered around, responsible for guarding and vigilance. When Wu Yu and the others arrived secretly, a slightly rounded old man walked out of the group. He was in an excited mood and trotted all the way to the front of the crowd. The old man was so excited that he half knelt on the ground with a pop and said piously, "Xuanhuan Earth Sword level disciple Lu Jin has met two Xuanhuan wizards, Nangang Wei and Beishan Mo, and has met senior sister Li Chugxiu." Li Chugxiu waved her hands and said, "Stand up. Don't get excited." The old man couldn't help but be excited. He accepted this task a few days ago and brought a group of people to mine the Bilyuan gold mine. In fact, the Bilyuan gold mine had been discovered by Xuanhuan disciples a long time ago, but because the amount was not very large, so Lu Jin was not taken seriously. When Lu Jin received this task, he just wanted to earn some merit. Unexpectedly, after actual investigation, he found that the Bilyuan gold mine was 10 times the size of the registered mine, and there was even the existence of the Bilyuan gold king. Lu Jin was extremely excited, but he was worried that he was not strong enough. If he encountered a powerful demon, he would have to give him an advantage. Therefore, he used the messenger talisman to ask the Immortal sect for help. He never expected that the Immortal sect would send him a helping hand. Turned out to be the two future pillars of the Xuanhuan Immortal sect, one is the daughter of the Sword Immortal, and the other is the common disciple of the 7 Immortals of Xuanhuan. Lu Jin was extremely excited to see them in this life. When Lu Jin stood up and still lowered his head to Nangang Wei and others, Li Chugxiu acted like a team leader and said, "Calm down and introduce the current situation to me. How long will it take to finish digging?" Lu Jin had already prepared and said, "We have been mining for a month now, and we have just learned about the existence of King Bilyuan. I am hesitant that King Bilyuan is in the deepest part of the mine, so it would normally take about 2 months to dig it out. After all, we cannot forcibly destroy other Bilyuan gold mines and only take the Bilyuan gold king. The combined value of the Bilyuan gold mines in Yin-Yang Mountain is also very great. It will probably take a year to dig them all out. However, it said that you only need to stay until once King Bilyuan is unearthed, the mission is over. Of course, if time is urgent, then just bomb it and destroy all the Bilyuan gold mines along the way, and you can barely dig out the Bilyuan gold king, but that will be a lot of waste." Li Chugxiu nodded. She didn't have to worry about mining. She was responsible for arranging guards. "How is the confidentiality? Are there any monsters attacking now? Do the monsters know that you are mining veins here? Do the monsters know that there is precious Bilyuan golden king here?" Li Chugxiu asked several questions that everyone was concerned about. Lu Jin smiled confidently and said, "We made very little noise and set up a magic array nearby. The demons obviously knew nothing about our mining. However, this place is close to the endless demon sea, so there are usually a few demons. Once we find them, we basically kill them quietly. It seems that the situation here is still quite optimistic." I'll go down and take a look. Led by Li Chugzhou, they personally went down to the deep pit to see the mining situation of the Bilyuan gold mine. Everyone went down together. It was pitch black below, but with everyone's eyesight, they could still see the situation clearly. At first, it was all mud. After all, the Bilyuan gold mine was very deep underground, even as deep as the underground Bayu furnace where Wu Yu was trapped last time. During this process, Lu Jin had been secretly watching Nangang Wei and Baishan Mo with awe and envy on his face, and he was almost shaking his head and wagging his tail. After descending for more than a quarter of an hour, Wu Yu finally saw that the ground below was empty. There was a kind of oily green in the darkness. When he looked around, he saw green rocks all around. It seemed that everyone had arrived at a green starry sky, which was very gorgeous. These rocks were Bilyuan gold mines. After being taken back and extracted, they could become pure Bilyuan gold, which could be directly used to forge magic tools. There were dozens of Xuanhuan disciples working meticulously at this time. They cut the rocks with swords, trying not to destroy their spiritual patterns. In the center of the foot, you can feel a strong light in the distance below, penetrating through the layers of Bilyuan gold. Obviously, it was the presence of Bilyuan Gold King. With the arrival of a big man, the Xuanhuan disciples naturally stopped their actions and looked at Nangang Wei and others with awe. Among them, Nangang Wei and Baishan Mo were naturally the focus of the crowd. Even Li Chugzhou's attention was far less than theirs. There is no doubt that they all envy Wu Yu and his group. It can be imagined that in time, as long as nothing unexpected happens, they will become big figures in Xuanhuan. Li Chugzhou took everyone around, and after getting a little understanding, he was too lazy to stay in this dark place. He greeted everyone and left with Lu Jin. Mining well, after success, there will definitely be a lot of achievements, Li Chugzhou said seriously. Yes, facing this legendary Tianjian level disciple, ordinary Xuanjian level disciples are still in awe. It took a while to leave the deep pit, and Li Chugzhou was arranging some details in his mind. Everyone landed beside the deep pit. Lu Jin smiled and said, "It's nothing serious. After all, the demons don't know our movements at all, and your identities won't be leaked. You can just play around for a few days." As soon as the voice fell, Baishan Mo, not far away, suddenly shouted softly. He pointed his fingertips, and suddenly an ice cube condensed in the air 10 feet away from everyone. The ice cube instantly flew into Baishan Mo's hand. Baishan Mo looked gloomy, and everyone couldn't help but look at him in confusion. "What's wrong?" Li Chugzhou hurried forward. At this time, Wu Yu saw that there seemed to be a fly in the ice cube. The fly was flapping its wings and flying, and suddenly it was frozen. At this time, it was probably frozen to death. This is a demon with spiritual intelligence. It's just that its cultivation is too shallow, and it has almost no demonic aura, but as long as it has spiritual intelligence, we can know that it is eavesdropping here. It's impossible that such a little demon approaches us as soon as we arrive. It is very likely that the demon has long suspected this place. The matter of the Bilyuan gold mine may have been known to the demon, and even our identities may be known to the demon, Baishan Mo said in an extremely serious voice. "What?" Lu Jin lost his voice. For so many days, he never cared about the flies and insects around him, but he still had some impressions. Suddenly he remembered that he saw flies for a few moments, but he didn't think much about it. In this way, if this was sent by the demon to observe, the matter of the Bilyuan gold mine would probably have been exposed. What's more terrifying is that if their identities are also exposed, those demons who want to make great contributions to the demon will obviously flock to take the heads of Baishan Mo and Nangang Wei. The situation became urgent. Baishan Mo was able to discover this insignificant little demon in an instant, which shows his extraordinary ability. After all, even Li Chugzhou didn't notice. However, Li Chugzhou was not nervous and said, "We are here to gain experience this time. I was afraid that they would not come. We don't need to worry about our identities being exposed. We just need to do our best to slay demons and monsters. /U003xent /U003e /U003c/sente /U003e. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 347. Li Chugxiu obviously knew that the more dangerous this trip was, the greater the test it would be for the juniors. As for safety issues, she didn't have to worry at all. The person in charge of this was not her, but someone else. If Baishan Mo and Nangongwei are traveling now, their lives will definitely not be in danger as long as they leave Shushan. Not to mention some of the protection measures the 7 Immortals of Shushan had set up on them, there must be peerless masters among them. Therefore, Li Chugxiu only needs to be responsible for leading them to fight, experience, and make decisions. Therefore, she reacted immediately and looked around. He said, "Everyone, Yin Yang Mountain is too big, and there are several openings in this vein. Since we are here, we naturally have to guard the property of our Shushan Immortal sect and protect others disciples of Shushan. The Bilyuan gold mine may be exposed now, so we must separate the garrison and include the entire Yunyang Mountain into our territory." "That's right, even if the demon attacks, we can't make the slightest concession," Baishan Mo said decisively. "Indeed, if there is an attack by a demon, you should not huddle around here, but should open up the front line, detect the opponent's movements as early as possible, and guard the entire Yin Yang Mountain. Otherwise, there is no need for the monsters to attack. You can just dig a hole in Yin Yang Mountain and start mining the Bilyuan gold mine. Next, listen to my arrangements. We must spread out and surround Yin Yang Mountain, but still maintain contact with each other. Once a demon is discovered, we can quickly support each other. And we need to have the rapid contact with the original tail talisman." Li Chugxiu took out the map of Yin Yang Mountain, coughed a few times, and marked several locations on it. They were probably all near the openings of the mineral veins, covering the entire Yin Yang Mountain, and the distance between them was not very far. "You are scattered in these locations. I am sitting in the center, supporting you at any time, and guarding the Bilyuan Golden King. In her position, she is close to everyone. Once an enemy appears, she can respond quickly and provide support in all directions." Immediately afterwards, Li Chugxiu arranged a place for everyone. Wu Yu noticed that there was one more person in the marked position, and he was obviously included in the mission and plan. "Wu Yu, you are here." Li Chugxiu pointed to a location on the south side of Yin Yang Mountain, slightly away from everyone and further away from the endless sea of demons. It was considered the safest location. But in fact, Nangongwei and Baishan Mo are located in the far north, and they are both the most accessible locations to contact the demons in the endless demonic sea. More importantly, these two locations are very close and are very suitable for supporting each other. Nangongwei looked unhappy and said, "What did you do by arranging a position for him? He just came with me and did not participate in this task. You will not give him any merit. Why should he expend effort?" Li Chugxiu did not dare to contradict Nangongwei, so she said humbly, "Don't worry, I have already told the Gongdhal that Wu Yuruo has 30,000 meritorious deeds for successfully completing this task. It is impossible for him to follow and do nothing. This is not in line with Shushan's rule." Nangongwei could barely accept this kind of treatment, but she said, "Place my brother and me nearby. Li Chugxiu is in trouble." Baishan Mo felt uncomfortable and said, "Sister Nangong, the location close to the north is very critical. It is easy to encounter monsters. If you let him pass, firstly, you will harm him. Secondly, if he does not play his role, this will affect of the entire mission. In fact, it doesn't matter if they are far apart. Li Chugzio just wants to give Bei Shanmo and Nangongwei a chance to get along for a while. Wu Yu will only find this little trick boring, so he waved his hand and said, "Wire, it's okay, the southernmost I'm safer. If anything happens, I'll contact you and I'll be there in a minute." He was not reconciled to Nangongwei's safety. After all, she was the subject of key protection. Ya Nangongwei stopped arguing. "Try to go to your own position and exchange the basic and last symbols with each other." Under Li Chugzio's arrangement, everyone exchanged talismans with each other to ensure that everyone could contact the other person. However, Wu Yu noticed a detail. After taking his tail charm, except for Li Chugzio and Nangongwei, everyone else crushed it directly. Obviously they did not want to receive any news from Wu Yu. This matter was done well. Such blatant behavior made Wu Yu completely understand that everyone except Nangongwei seemed to be hostile to him. In fact, if Nangongwei hadn't been so kind to him, they wouldn't have been like this. They were in the same circle, but Wu Yu came out of nowhere. This was because they despised him and were completely unwilling to be with him. The reason for being together. Baishan Mo is the most authoritative here, but Baishan Mo is controlled by Nangongwei, and Nangongwei listens to Wu Yu to a certain extent. How can Li Chugzio and the others, especially Mu Lingche, be convinced? After crushing the tail charm given by Wu Yu, they left quickly. Wu Yu estimated that if there was any news, they would probably not inform him. We'll see. He was also very unhappy. "Brother, don't pay attention to them," Nangongwei said. The two exchanged words with each other and set off in different directions. Wu Yu climbed over the mountains and arrived at the place with the lushest vegetation in the south of Yin Yang Mountain. There was a mine with a mineral vein nearby. It was relatively small and there were only 6 or 7 Shushan disciples in it. While mining, Wu Yu's mission was also to protect them and guard the mine. Basically, no demons will come from the south. Li Chugzio doesn't even want to give me a chance to practice. Wu Yu smiled coldly. He had been discriminated against for several days and felt very unhappy. He sat cross-legged on the branches of an ancient tree in the sky and looked around. It was indeed difficult to see any threats here. In this case, he did not need to be vigilant or patrolling, so he began to sit cross-legged and refine the golden elixir. The top priority was to improve his realm. The most important thing is that it is also the best way to catch up with Nangongwei and the others. I really don't know what is in the Shushan Samsara cave that can make the two of them make such huge progress. Judging from their progress in the past 1 or 2 years after they came out, they are actually not much different from me, and I am even faster. Obviously, all of Nangongwei's rapid growth was accomplished in the Shushan Samsara cave. Therefore, Wu Yu believed that it was only a matter of time before he could catch up with them. It's just that no one else thinks so. Road. The process of tempering the golden elixir is the process of pursuing the Tao and cultivating the Tao. The little bits and pieces of daily insights are all integrated into the process of tempering the golden elixir. Wu Yu now has 80,000 merits, a small part of which has been replaced by the Kanghai Yuan Kai pill for daily practice. This Kanghai Yuan Kai pill is too overbearing, so even if he is physically strong, he can only refine one after a while. Refining golden elixirs in this dangerous yin-yang mountain feels quite tense. 3 or 4 days passed in the blink of an eye. There is no news, and there should be no demons encountered. Does this mean that the Bilyuan gold mine may not have been exposed? Just as Wu Yu was thinking this, he suddenly smelled a demonic aura. In an instant, black mist surged from the mine not far away. The demonic aura assaulted his nostrils with great force. It was obviously not a small demon. "Why did you come around here?" Wu Yu was startled, but his movements were very fast. Before the Shushan disciples under the mine were aware of the existence of the demon, Wu Yu appeared in front of the mine and shouted loudly. He said, "Where is the evildoer who still hasn't revealed himself?" When Wu Yu shouted, the Xuanhuan disciples under the mine immediately became nervous. Although they have been practicing for longer than Wu Yu, and most of them are middle-aged people over 100 years old, they are also deeply persecuted by demons, and their hearts are slightly shadowed. Tear in the black mist ahead, a sharp scream suddenly sounded, which felt like tearing the eardrums. The Xuanhuan disciples in the mine even covered their ears with painful expressions. The black mist quickly condensed, forming a pale-skinned man in front of Wu Yu's eyes. The man showed two fangs, like a zombie. His eyes were narrow and long, with small pupils. His eyes were a little dull, but he had a formidable look. Murderous intent. Wu Yu came here with many sword-level Zifukanghai realm. He knew the difference between Zifukanghai realm and Jindan Dao realm very clearly. The demonic man in front of him is obviously from the Kanghai realm of Zi Mansion and is definitely a formidable enemy. The moment it appeared, Wu Yu realized that this mission was not simple. He handed out two talismans, one to Li Chugzhou, mainly to report the situation, and the other to Nangang Wei. After all, according to Li Chugzhou, anyone who finds a demon needs to report it. Forget about the others, they crushed the tail charms they gave them anyway. You're quite young. What a pity. As soon as the demon appeared, he glanced sideways at Wu Yu, said in an indifferent voice, and then took action without stopping at all. He didn't even show his true body, but sharp claws suddenly grew on his fingers, and without saying a word, he tore towards Wu Yu. His figure instantly turned into an afterimage, and he was so fast that he was in front of Wu Yu's eyes in the blink of an eye. Wu Yu judged from his words that the other party had a premeditated plan. Obviously they should have known about the existence of this mineral vein and launched an attack. Wu Yu reacted instantly. He was close at hand and engaged in hand-to-hand combat. The opponent did not even reveal his true form. He directly fought with his bare hands. At the critical moment, Wu Yu's physical speed was even faster. Before the opponent's claws attacked, he grabbed the opponent's wrist, twisted it violently, and heard a snapping sound, directly breaking the opponent's hand bones. Buzz! The demon's eyes turned cold, and its power exploded, knocking Wu Yu away, and took out his palm. In front of Wu Yu's eyes, his palm recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye, but his face was very shocked and said, "You are strange. It's not a demon, how can he have such physical strength, even more powerful than the demons like us?" Wu Yu did not answer, but said, "Who is your excellency? I am too lazy to kill an unknown person." "Haha, that's quite loud." The other party didn't say anything, but at this time, the evil wind was raging and he wanted to transform into his true form. /U003 cent /U003e /U003c /Sente /U003e. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 348. Wu Yu has not been summoned by other people for the time being, and obviously no one else has been attacked by demons. Nangang Wei is a bit far away from here. If Li Chugzhou doesn't come, Wu Yu may have to deal with this monster by himself. After the confrontation just now, Wu Yu found that this demon was not difficult to deal with, so he was not in a hurry and regarded it as a training opportunity. After all, in the Xuanhuan Immortal sect, there would be no such thrilling life and death battles. The final results are obviously different. Wu Yu guessed that Nangang Wei would come over, but it would take some time, and Li Chugzhou might not be so anxious. After all, she had to sit in the center, and she might be eager for something to happen to Wu Yu. I guess Baishan Mo will also give a special explanation. Buzz! At this critical moment, the demon's body changed at a speed visible to the naked eye. It grew huge black flesh wings, and its voice was extremely sharp. In the blink of an eye, a huge bat appeared in front of Wu Yu. The bat flew into the sky, there are many gloomy bloodlines and the face is fierce and extremely scary. It turns out to be an old bat demon. The other party didn't say a word, but wanted to fight quickly and kill Wu Yu quickly. Therefore, after revealing his true form, the old bat demon screamed repeatedly, spread its flesh wings, covered the sky and the sun, and completely enveloped Wu Yu in a forest. In the environment, the demons in the Kanghai realm of Zifu have a very deep understanding of Tao. Wu Yu has fought many demons in the supreme hunting ground, but those demons, even the golden and stone monkeys, do not have the power of this old bat demon at all. Deep cultivation. The most important thing is that when the opponent takes action, it will be the most terrifying magical power of the demon. The old bat demon waved his wings and opened his mouth to spit out. Countless black smoke rushed out, swept and spread instantly, and almost submerged the entire world in the blink of an eye. Within the scope of the thick smoke, the field of vision was completely blocked. It is a kind of realm. If you want to break out of such a realm, you must break through here. Otherwise, it may be like Xuanhuan's inner earth realm and be strictly restricted by the opponent within the realm. I don't know where the old bat demon suddenly unfolded his magical power, and suddenly he let out waves of terrifying screams. The screams were extremely harsh, not only harsh, but even penetrating the soul. Under this scream, even the other Xuanhuan disciples who were not within the domain instantly clutched their heads, fell to the ground with pale faces, and screamed, not to mention Wu Yu, who was in the center of the domain and received the most fatal blow from this old bat demon. Sound attack. That sharp voice was obviously irresistible to anyone. Even covering his head had no effect. Wu Yu's face instantly turned pale and he struggled to hold on with his strong willpower. Haha, the sharp and tragic voice of the old bat demon kept roaring. Under this stinging pain, Wu Yu was indeed completely unable to attack, and he didn't even have a chance to attack. Once he relaxed his mind, the magical power of the voice would become even more powerful. It invades the body, causing a complete collapse of mental and willpower, and even permanent deafness in both ears. It's such a powerful magical power. It seems that I can only use special skills. Wu Yu was not frightened. Although there was a death crisis approaching, he found a solution in the blink of an eye. I saw him in the midst of difficulty, pulling out 10 long golden hairs, blowing them hard, and the 10 hairs instantly transformed into his appearance. Each person took a psychic magical weapon, all of which were long swords. At this time suddenly, if you find the location of the old bat demon, its sound must come from a source, so it is not difficult to find its location. This is the first time that his outlaw clone has truly shown its power, and its purpose is to kill the opponent. 10 Wu Ye suddenly moved out. After all, they were all transformed from a hair, so the attack of the old bat demon's voice did not have a great impact on them. However, they appeared and found the traces of the bat demon the moment they appeared. Take action decisively. Xianxian shocking sword technique. 10 Wu Yu, who were about the 9th level of the Golden Core realm and above, suddenly used the mysterious technique of heaven and earth. The mysterious technique of heaven and earth exploded instantly. 10 sword energies suddenly killed the bat demon who was close at hand. The bat demon instantly released a real scream, and this kind of scream is no longer offensive. The moment he was devastated by Xuanxian's frightening swordsmanship, he was dizzy, his soul was stinging, and his mind went blank. Naturally, he could not maintain his natal magical power. The entire field suddenly dissipated. The sound attack that trapped Wu Yu completely disappeared for a while. Although his ears were still stinging, Wu Yu was at least free at this time. This was a golden opportunity. Wu Yu suddenly summoned the 9 directions suppressing demon pillar. Activated the 9-way demon suppressing array, and instantly suppressed the demon in the center. Now the bat demon is convulsing in pain. Wu Yu had the moon dance clear sky sword in his hand. Without saying a word, he rushed into the Zhufang demon suppression array and used a mysterious sword technique to pierce the bat demon's head directly. The bat demon was in agony. He screamed and struggled wildly under the 9 directions demonic pillar. Unfortunately, Wu Yu's real attack and killing methods were not easy to withstand. After a few miserable screams, the bat demon suddenly died. His eyes turned white and his head hung down. He was no longer alive. Made a sound. There were few scars on his body, but his soul had dissipated and he was completely dead. Wu Yu finally breathed a sigh of relief and dispelled the 9-party demon suppressing array, letting the bat demon fall to the ground. There was a roar and dust kept flying. Wu Yu stepped forward and found a sumuru bag on the bat demon's body. They usually hide it in flesh and blood, making it difficult to find, but it is also difficult to hide it from Wu Yu. Opening the sumuru bag, I found that there were a lot of Canghai Yuankai pills inside. Judging from the fact that one Canghai Yuankai pill was worth 1,000 merits, it had more than 20,000 merits anyway. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Pills are the most circulated currency in the entire divine continent. Although the monsters are poor at making pills, there are some who can make pills, and some are even very good at it. In addition, monsters often kill people and steal treasures, so they have a lot of wealth in their hands. Sure enough, in the monastic world, killing people and grabbing treasures is always the fastest way to obtain wealth, faster than any other way to earn merit in Xuanhuan. Of course, it is also the most dangerous. These 20 or so Canghai Yuankai pills are enough for Wu Yu to use for a long time. When he had just received the Canghai Yuankai pill from the bat demon, he felt other eyes observing him. Several of them were Xuanhuan disciples in the mine. They were still in shock, but they were still full of gratitude and awe towards Wu Yu. As for other sights, Wu Yu looked into the distance and saw Li Chugzio standing there in a long white dress, her dress fluttering in the wind, as if a fairy had come to the world. There was also some surprise in her eyes. She seemed unable to understand how Wu Yu killed the bat demon. The battle between Wu Yu and the bat demon was actually very short, only a few moments, so Li Chugzio arrived not too late. Of course, if Nanggong Wei and Bei Shanmo encountered a demon, her speed would be at least half as fast. The reason why he didn't come right away was probably because he was observing whether there were any demons arriving on both sides. Brother, Wu Yu just saw Li Chugzio. Behind Li Chugzio, a 9-color fire light quickly came over and appeared in front of Wu Yu. Since she appeared, Li Chugzio's light was completely covered up. It was Nanggong Wei. She looked slightly anxious, widened her eyes, and immediately saw the scene, so she relaxed a little. Looking at the bat demon again, she was surprised. This bat demon seems to have the cultivation level of Zifu Canghai realm, and he was actually did you kill? It's a fluke, Wu Yu said. Although the others were not affected by Wu Yu's original talisman, they heard the sounds of the battle anyway. However, Li Chugzio asked them to stay where they were to prevent the demon from taking the opportunity to make a sneak attack. Li Chugzio came forward at this time, looked at the bat demon, and said to Wu Yu in a cold tone, "Don't be so ruthless next time. At least leave him alive so that we can interrogate him." Wu Yu smiled and said, "Senior sister Li is really good at joking. I almost died. How could I possibly let him live? I will be the only one who dies if I show mercy. Next time if I want to live, you should come faster." Li Chugzio was speechless. After all, Nanggong Wei was still here. As soon as she felt Nanggong Wei's displeased eyes, she did not argue with Wu Yu, but went forward to check, and said, "Wait a minute, realm, after all, is a demon with a head and a face. Take his sumuru bag and see if there is anything in it that can identify him." Wu Yu searched for it and did see a black token. The token was just an ordinary piece of iron, but there was a drop of condensed blood dripping on it. It was very sinister. Just staring at it would make people seriously ill. An uneasy feeling. "It seems to be a subordinate demon of the red blood demon," Li Chugzio said. "What?" Wu Yu was startled. He naturally knew the crimson blood demon. The existence that turned into a demon with dirty blood was even more powerful than Li Chugzio. Li Chugzio frowned slightly, then relaxed it and said, Don't worry, the territory of the red blood demon is quite far away from here, and she has no interest in the billion gold mine. Even if she dares to come, there will be people to deal with her. We just need to stay here. This time the bat demon is probably acting on his own, so don't think too much, just go back to your position and observe the situation. After that, she hurriedly returned to the distance, probably because she was worried about the demon attacking from other directions. Brother, have you discovered anything? Nangongwei saw some changes in his expression and felt it keenly. Wu Yu shook his head. He had returned to Xuanhuan from the territory of the scarlet-blooded demon before. Naturally, he knew that it was far away from here. He didn't think that the scarlet-blooded demon would want to get the billion gold mine. The other party was a person who was working with the Wuxian blood qi, should look down on this place. Wu Yu, on the other hand, was thinking about the relationship between the curse mark on his body and the Wuxian blood qi, so he was in a trance for a while. No, you go back first. If anything happens, we can use this talisman to contact you, Wu Yu said. Okay, Nangongwei felt a little more relaxed when she saw that he was not injured. Wu Yu needed an environment to think carefully about the purpose of Wuxian blood qi. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 349. Shenzhen said that Wuxian blood qi didn't need to use any tricks on him. If it really had to work, it should be against Zhuiying. Now that Zhuiying is gone, the old bat demon who followed the red blood demon appeared. He wanted to kill Wu Yu if he didn't agree with him, and said something slightly strange, which aroused Wu Yu's suspicion. But after thinking about it carefully, it was probably a coincidence. The bat demon probably found that someone was mining treasures near the endless demon sea, so he came to repel the enemy, intending to kill all the Xuanhuan disciples stationed there and rob some treasures. Otherwise, if he came here at the order of the red blood demon, he shouldn't want to kill me if he didn't agree with me. After all, Wuxian blood qi probably still needs me to carry out some conspiracy. After separating this matter from the red blood demon, it was not so complicated. After experiencing the life and death battle again, Wu Yu had some experience in his heart, so he continued to refine the golden elixir. Now there are crises everywhere, with demons outside and Baishan Mo and others inside. There are enemies inside and outside, and there are murderous intentions. He feels very insecure. Just like today, except Nangongwei, no one came to really save him. If he was not strong enough, it would not be the bat demon who fell to the ground, but himself. Then, as Wu Yu guessed, the appearance of the bat demon here was indeed a coincidence, because no demon appeared in the next month or more. Wu Yu and others had been stationed here for such a long time, and except Wu Yu, no one else had fought with the demon. On the other hand, the Xuanhuan Immortal Gate, while mining a large amount of billion gold, was about to dig out the billion gold king. Wu Yu went down several times, and the light of the billion gold king shone in the mine, which was very dazzling. It is said that the core piece of billion gold king does have 6 visible spiritual patterns. It is said that the top treasures in the mortal world, whether immortals or treasures, only have 10 spiritual patterns. The billion gold king can have 6, which is indeed a treasure that the Shenzhou land has spent countless time to nourish with spiritual energy. Although he hadn't touched the billion gold king yet, Wu Yu could feel its majestic spiritual connotation even when he stood beside it. It is indeed possible to forge a pinnacle treasure of a Dao weapon. Of course, there are not many people in the entire Shenzhou who can draw the magic weapon array of a Dao weapon. Baishan Mo, Mu Lingch and others came here with great ambitions, but they didn't encounter a demon. This made them a little unwilling, and even proposed to go deep into the endless demon sea to kill a few demons to relieve their anger. Nangongwei also had this intention, but Li Chugzio took the risk of contradicting Baishan Mo for their safety and advised them to give up this move. Therefore, Baishan Mo was actually a little unhappy these days. After all, even Wu Yu defeated a demon and killed him. and he claimed to kill all the demons for Nangongwei. This time, he finally acted with Nangongwei, but there was no blood on the sword. After the Bilyuan Gold King is mined, the other Bilyuan Gold will probably be almost there. After a while, we will return to Shushan and bring the Bilyuan Gold King back, Li Chugzhou arranged. This was also the original plan. Baishan Mo said coldly, where did all these demons go? How about we make some noise on purpose to attract some demons? Li Chugzhou said helplessly, this Yunyang mountain is near the endless demon sea, but it is far away from our Shushan immortal gate. We'd better not be so ostentatious. If we are too ostentatious, we are afraid that demons that are difficult to resist will appear. After all, you are the future of the immortal gate. If there is a chance to kill you, the demons will definitely do it. Why are you so timid? Li Chugzhou repeatedly stopped him, and Baishan Mo was a little unhappy. At this time, he was about to ignore Li Chugzhou and go out to find demons. Suddenly, while they were talking, there was a rolling demonic energy in the north, with a huge momentum. Everyone's expression was serious. They rushed to the sky and looked out. They saw that there was a rolling black smoke rushing from the direction of the endless demon sea. For a while, the earth shook and roared, as if it was an earthquake, and even cracks appeared in some areas of Yunyang mountain. With such injuries, there must be more than one demon. How come these demons appeared after a month? Wu Yu stood beside Nangongwei, and a puzzle appeared in his mind. The black smoke was really powerful and rolled in. It didn't cover the sky, but it had already covered a large area of the ground. At least the distance from the foot of Yunyang mountain to the endless demon sea was completely covered by the thick smoke. At this time, everyone saw clearly that the black smoke was caused by the galloping of countless wild boars. There were tens of thousands of wild boars. Some of them were huge, like a mountain. When they stepped on the ground roared and cracked. The bloody eyes, sharp steel teeth, dense hair on the body like gun tips, and black bodies were all terrifying. Even the smallest wild boar was almost as big as an elephant. Tens of thousands of wild boars, of course, each one had opened its spiritual wisdom, and was an absolute demon. Wild boar demon? The Black Smoke King is coming, Lu Jin shouted in a lost voice. Wu Yu heard from them that the area near Yin Yang Mountain, the closest to here in the Endless Demon Sea, is occupied by a wild boar demon. The wild boar demon calls himself the Black Smoke King, and it is said that he has tens of thousands of little wild boar demons under his command. These countless hills are a paradise for the wild boar demons. They constantly roam the endless demon sea, and even often come out to capture ascetics. Although their IQ is not very high, they are domineering and overbearing. The reason why Lu Jin is so scared here is that he is afraid that the Black Smoke King will discover their existence. Unexpectedly, when they were about to mine the Biluan Gold King and could almost retreat, the Black Smoke King came. He came with such a huge momentum, obviously he came here specially, which means that he knows what the Shushan disciples are doing here. So, who told him? This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. Although this Black Smoke King is the closest to here, it is still some distance away. How could he find us in Yin Yang Mountain when our movements are so small? Li Chugzhou's face turned pale, with doubt in his eyes. On the other hand, Baishan Mo and the others didn't care at all. He smiled coldly and said, "Don't worry so much. After staying for such a long time, someone who is looking for death finally comes. Although they are some stupid pig monsters, they are better than those who have not practiced. Chance." The young people showed an eagerness to try. Brother Nangongwei approached Wu Yu, her face a little strange, showing disgust and hatred at the same time. She felt a disgust for monsters from the bottom of her heart, as if there were dirty bugs in front of her eyes. She rarely faced so many like this. There will be a little instinctive fear in the heart of the demon, but it will turn into determination to kill. Although the palms of the hands are trembling, the power in his body is almost on the verge of exploding. Calm down. Wu Yu naturally didn't like these pig monsters, but he didn't want Nangong Wei to lose her sense of proportion. At this time, everyone roughly saw that there was a person riding on the backs of the largest wild boar monsters. Although they were in human form, they had black faces and yellow teeth. They looked very ugly. There was no doubt that all of them were also riding on them. It's a wild boar demon, but it's a very high level, so it has extra perks. Wu Yu glanced at these people and found that they were all demons from the Kanghai realm of the Zi Mansion, with the presence of the Zi Mansion in their bodies. One of them was the most domineering, black and strong, with fangs protruding from the corners of his mouth, and eyes as huge as copper bells. The man, surrounded by black smoke above his head, should be the Black Smoke King who can dominate the mountain in the endless sea of demons. Several other demons from the Kanghai realm in the Purple Mansion should be his generals. Second brother, third brother, fourth brother, fifth brother, sixth brother, seventh brother. Yin Yang Mountain is here. When Wu Yu was guessing the identities of the others, the Black Smoke King roared with excitement and turned to the humanoid wild boars around him. The demon said, "Yes, big brother, Yin Yang Mountain is here. Brothers and brothers, Yin Yang Mountain has arrived. Yeah, here we are. Look, there are people in the sky, those grandsons of Xuanhuan. It turns out that the remaining 6 are all his younger brothers. No wonder they look so similar. They are obviously born to the same parents. They are probably 7 in one child. Brother, what should we do if these grandsons of Xuanhuan come to our door to snatch our treasures?" The Black Smoke King roared and said, "You ask me what to do. What do you say to do? Of course I rush up and eat these grandchildren. Eat, eat, eat. Eat them all, even their hair. Okay, you're right, even their clothes will be eaten, and even their swords will be eaten," said a wild boar demon. Another wild boar demon hit him hard on the head and said, "Eat your farts. The hilt of the sword is edible, but the blade cannot be eaten. It will scratch your mouth." Another person hit the boar demon who was talking to the other person on the head, and said, "You are even more stupid. The hilt of the sword is made of treasure. Can you eat it? If you eat it, you can't pull it out. Shut up. You can eat whatever you want. I'm going to ruin the women of Xuanhuan and give birth to a half-human, half-pig son." Black Smoke King Jija laughed. He glanced around and stared at the front. Li Chugzhou, who looks the sexiest yet inviolable, said, "This girl, the big one, the perky one, just suits my taste. I want her to be my Smoky King's woman. Brother has good eyesight. That's right, this woman is good. I want that woman, she's pretty," said the third brother of the Black Smoke King. "Look carefully, idiot, this is a man." The second brother of the Black Smoke King hit him on the head again, because the wild boar demon just now was referring to Baishan Mo. "How can it be a man? His skin is so white. He is not from our wild boar clan, he must be white. I still see too few people, old pig." This group of wild boar monsters was very noisy and their words were illogical. Coupled with the tens of thousands of restless wild boar monsters running up and down, the scene was simply chaotic. The rioting sounds made people go crazy. Li Chugzhou was the most angry because she was insulted by a pig. Her voice was sharp and she said angrily, "Shut up." A harsh sound passed by, which shocked the wild boar demons. Most of the wild boar demons were turned upside down and rolled directly to the ground. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 350. So powerful, seeing Li Chugzhou yelling, tens of thousands of wild boar demons were eclipsed, and even the Black Smoke King was surprised. At this time, Li Chugzio took out a long sword as white as ice crystals. This must be a super spiritual weapon of very good quality. She locked the Black Smoke King with her sharp edge and said sharply, "Black Smoke King, as a member of the group, Demon King, do you have the guts to fight me alone to determine the outcome?" The Black Smoke King was shocked and said to himself, "This little girl is so fierce and aggressive, she actually wants to challenge me." Before he could react, the little demons were already excited, shouting and insulting Li Chugzio for not overestimating his abilities. Even the younger brothers around him were angry, saying, "Brother, she dares to provoke you, please show her what you are doing sharp." "Yes, brother, get rid of her quickly. When the brothers see how powerful you are, this person looks so white. The brothers want to see what she looks like without clothes." The little monsters also shouted, "Your Majesty, take action quickly, don't let these cultivators underestimate us." "Yes," he screamed just now, which shocked me. "This monk's voice is really loud. Okay, wait until I take care of her. You guys should keep an eye on her." The Black Smoke King patted the wild boar down and stood up, showing off his dark muscles, very proud of himself. Here, Beishan Mo was a little dissatisfied with Li Chugzio's private decision, but Li Chugzio knew him very well. She quickly said to Beishan Mo, "Of these stupid pigs, the only one with the strength to pose a serious threat to you is the Black Smoke King. He estimates he's not much worse than me. Once I finish him off, you can kill the other pig demons at will." Among his younger brothers, the strongest is also at the 4th level of the Zifukanghai realm. Beishan Mo also knew that he could not deal with the Black Smoke King. Since Li Chugzio had considered his desire to kill the demon, he did not rush him and said, "Okay, calm down and do your best. We will wait for you." Li Chugzio was relieved and prepared to take down the Black Smoke King first. And here, Beishan Mo had already turned his head and said to Nangong Wei beside him, "Sister Nangong, today I will kill at least 1,000 demons. These stupid, dirty, disgusting wild boars deserve to die. They can also be regarded as the 6th master, the first step towards revenge." Nangong Wei's face looked a little ugly, but she still nodded without saying anything more. Wu Yu could see that she was actually the one who hated these pig demons. If she hadn't been waiting for Li Chugzio to get rid of the most difficult black smoke first, Wang Uniform probably couldn't help but want to kill him at this time. Enemies should be repaid, but they have to implicate others. Is this right or wrong? Wu Yu listened to them and asked himself. In fact, he felt that Nangong Wei should take revenge, but he regarded all monsters as enemies and had to kill them all. Seems a bit excessive. However, after all, he is the person Nangong Wei trusts the most. When she needs support, Miracle is thinking about this problem that countless people can't understand. Is it meaningful? Although Wu Yu had some thoughts of his own, he felt that Nangong Wei should not be blinded by hatred, but every time he saw her struggling with hatred and the way she missed her mother, he felt that his thoughts were shameful. Suddenly he discovered that Tao and emotion may stand at two extremes, and you cannot have your cake and eat it too. Beishan Mo is much more pure. He can do whatever Nangong Wei wants to take revenge. At this time, Li Chugzio, the Black Smoke King, the strongest of the two camps, met between the two camps and started a fierce battle. It is said that only those at the 5th level of the Zifukanghai realm can become disciples of the heavenly sword level. In fact, Beishan Mo and Nangong Wei are not very far away from the weakest disciples of the heavenly sword level. Of course, Li Chugzio and the demon Black Smoke King are obviously not the weakest heavenly sword level disciples, so Beishan Mo and others cannot intervene in the battle between them. In the direction of the endless demonic sea, they saw their king fighting, and the little wild boar monsters shouted and roared in unison. The chaotic and noisy sounds made the Shushan disciples extremely irritable. At this time, they all stopped working in the mine and came outside. Already ready to fight the monster. There are too many wild boar demons. If there is a melee this time, If the Black Smoke King fails to be eliminated, the Xuanhuan disciples will probably suffer a big loss. King of Black Smoke, you are so stupid, how did you know that we are here? Li Chugzio suspected that someone told him, otherwise he would not have come here more than a month after Wu Yu killed the Bat Demon. But the Black Smoke King was not really stupid. He chuckled and said, I will tell you when you give birth to a monster for me. Go to hell. Li Chugzio saw that he had a fat head, big ears, ugly face, and yellow teeth full of stains. She felt like vomiting, so she was naturally even more angry. There are only over 100 heavenly sword level disciples in the entire Xuanhuan Immortal section. These heavenly sword level disciples are the real core strength of Xuanhuan. Their cultivation is as high as the sky and their combat power is extraordinary. Their power of combat and destruction is much more powerful than that of the earthly sword level disciples. In the blink of an eye, under Li Chugzio's angry sword cultivation skills, the mountains were upturned, the rivers were cut off, and approaching the direction of the endless demon sea, countless mountains and rivers were razed to the ground, and there were even a few blind people. The little demon was covered in blood and fell to the ground whining. With one strike of the sword, snowflakes danced and ice covered thousands of miles. Li Chugzio's sword cultivation technique directly turned this place into a snow-capped mountain like Xuanhuan. Countless snowflakes were the flying sword energy, densely packed and overwhelming, and ice condensed and turned into sharp ice edges in the void. Riot and piercing, all hit the Black Smoke King's body. Young ladies, you are so powerful, the Black Smoke King showed a solemn look in his eyes, and transformed into a huge and dark wild boar demon. It was much larger than all the wild boar demons. Black smoke rose from his body, giving it more strength. A large amount of evil spirit, the majestic and fishy evil spirit permeated the air, which was disgusting. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Both of them showed their strongest state. Under the attention of everyone, they fought fiercely. For a moment, sword energy and demonic magic were flying. The two's natural magical powers blasted each other, which made Wu Yu dazzled. Li Chugzio has never really taken action, and she mainly focuses on Baishan Mo. I didn't expect her true combat power to be so powerful. The Tianjian level is the first of the 4 major sword level disciples. Outside of Shu Mountain, all of them are dominating figures. They are all sect leaders, commanding a sect, and even subjugating many sects. This battle was fought in darkness, and Wu Yu and others were dazzled. He carefully considered Li Chugzio's swordsmanship. Li Chugzio's sword was sharp and cold, and so was her sword. There was disgust and hatred for monsters in it. So she used extreme power every time, and her evil aura surpassed that of the Black Smoke King. This was why she was able to suppress the Black Smoke King later and leave bloody scars under the Black Smoke King's rough skin. Reason. You little bitch. You really have some abilities. Although not as good as me, you can still be regarded as a person. I will not tangle with you today. I will rest for a few days and find some helpers, and then I will make your life worse than death. Little one. Everyone, retreat first. As soon as the Black Smoke King was suppressed by Li Chugzio, he made a decision that no one expected. He turned around and ran away. That's right, retreat first, and take a walk. Come back in a few days when you're ready. This little lady is very naughty. As soon as these words came out, the little wild boar demons were stunned for a moment, and then quickly reacted, all turned around, and ran away with the Black Smoke King with a roar. Among them, the Black Smoke King brothers were the most powerful. He came with great fanfare before, but now he is running away in despair. The temperament of this Black Smoke King is really unpredictable. Li Chugzio also didn't expect that the opponent would turn around and run away just as he gained the upper hand. Not only did they escape, but they also dispersed. These tens of thousands of wild boars scattered across the mountains and plains. This place was already very close to the endless demonic sea, so as long as they escaped, they would quickly rush into the endless demonic sea and disappear. No trace. Among the crowd, only Lu Jin said with a relaxed tone, "Sure enough, this Black Smoke King is as timid as a rat in the legend. He will not fight to the death with all his strength when there is no absolute certainty in the battle. He always pursues the goal of easily defeating his opponent. Seeing that it was difficult to defeat Li Chuxue, I just ran away." "I see." However, Lu Jin's face immediately turned ugly again, and he added, "The trouble is, the Black Smoke King is a complete villain, and he has a lot of bad friends, so he can't give up on something that he targets. After escaping for the first time, he will definitely recruit more people until he is sure that he can easily capture us. With his ability, it is estimated that he will bring other demons to deal with us in a few days." Baishan Majeng was depressed that he could not take action this time. When Lu Jin said this, he said solemnly, "This is just right. I was worried that he would not dare to come again. In this case, I will wait for them to come and die again in a few days. When it comes to this, almost tens of thousands of wild boars have entered the endless demon sea. Under the rolling black miasma, it is difficult to find them again. In fact, the Xuanhuan Immortal sect also prohibits its disciples from trespassing into the endless demon sea. Countless historical deeds prove that no matter how capable the ascetic is, it will be difficult for him to leave alive after entering the endless sea of demons. Therefore, it is a miracle that Wu Yu can leave the supreme hunting ground and return to Xuanhuan." Li Chuxue came back with a gloomy expression. When she came to Baishan Mo's eyes, she immediately put on a smile and said softly, "I didn't expect this stupid pig to escape like this. However, he will definitely come back in a few days, but with his character, it will definitely bring us bigger problems, and it is estimated that we will not do it in such a big way again. It is estimated that we will use some means. Next, we have to be more cautious." "No need to worry," Baishan Mo was confident. Li Chuxue arranged, "In order to prevent these pig monsters from sneaking up on us, we still need to separate and patrol the surroundings. Once we find an enemy, we will immediately notify each other with this and the tail talisman. The position is still in the original position. However, it has been slightly reduced to ensure that we can support each other at any time." In this way, Wu Yu returned to his previous position near the southern mist mine and inspected the surroundings. Who told Black Smoke King about the mine here, Wu Yu was thinking. He felt that the center of gravity of the team was still on Nangongwei and Beishanmo, and even Li Chuxue was near them, rather than in the center. The person who secretly protects them is probably over there. The wild boar demon will appear at any time, so the situation is quite tense. 3 days later. Suddenly, Wu Yu heard a noise from the south. He instantly became alert and had already taken out the original talisman. "Wu Yu, it's me, Zhu. Suddenly, the familiar voice came. As I write this, the long-awaited climax and turning point has finally come. It has been a while since the book was published, and it has received 60 million hits, which is 10 times better than when Dragon Blood was first released. Thank you all for your silent support. The full potential of fantasy comes after 3 million words, so it's still early. At the beginning of a book, they are all babies and need to grow up slowly. Dragon Blood has about 500,000 words before it was released. Before it was released, it was updated twice a day. That was too long ago, and I guess everyone has forgotten it. Generally speaking, before online novels are released, the updates are not too fast. For details, you can refer to Gen, Fanki and other great writers. Today, Swallowing Heaven record has 1.07 million words. In fact, it should have been released long ago, but it was delayed for several months. I wanted everyone to read more free genuine copies, and I wanted to learn how to drive at the beginning of the year, so I delayed it a bit. I still remember that in the month when Dragon Blood was released, it exploded with 700,000 words, shocking the online literature world. Of course, at that time, I had 400,000 words in reserve before the book was released, and I released it directly. So it was not tiring, and I wrote 300,000 words that month. Because Swallowing Heaven Record was released directly after Dragon Blood, there was no reserve. It will be released tomorrow, May 1st, and it will be purely written now. Now that all the trivial matters have been dealt with and it is released, it is time to return to the state of crazy, so I am ready to challenge 400,000 words in May. I will burst out with 10 words tomorrow. After 12 o'clock tonight, I will update 5 chapters first. I saved them in the past 2 days. I will post some comments on the release of the book later and chat with you all. It seems that I have been very busy writing the new book, so I haven't communicated with you all much. Everyone remember to take a look. I will push it through 2 public accounts when the time comes. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 351. I flipped through the pages of Swallowing the Sky, 150 days, 1 million words, 60 million clicks. In terms of performance, it is considered top-notch for a new book. Dragon's Blood was about 1 million words at the time and had less than 5 million hits. The update is a bit slow, which is incomparable with that of Dragon Blood God of War. After all, 400,000 manuscripts were saved at that time, and Swallowing the Sky was released immediately after the ending of Dragon Blood, so there were basically no saved manuscripts. Generally, in new book issues, public chapters are released, and you can only click on a data to view it, so during this period, it will not be updated very quickly. After it is put on the shelves, there will be an explosion period. In the past, Dragon Blood God of War slowly came into everyone's sight after it was put on the shelves. I remember that at that time, Collection 2000 was on the shelves. Now with a collection of 100,000, it is on the shelves, and the conditions are much better. Listing means charging. Many old readers also know that online articles need to charge some meager fees to support the operation of the website, the salary of the staff, the manuscript fee for the lunatic's livelihood, etc. Here I would like to tell new readers some differences between genuine and pirated copies. The genuine version is the only content of Swallowing the Sky that was first released and published on the contracted website 17K. The website pays me royalties, and I provide content to the website. The difference between legitimate websites and pirated websites is that pirated websites don't have many employees who need to eat, and they don't have to pay authors or various expenses. They mainly earn GG fees. The genuine website needs to be operated. If the author wants to make a living while writing the book, the only way is for the reader to pay for it. Of course, the money was not much. The author spent several hours working hard to write 3,000 words, but only received 9 cents. There is nothing you can buy for 9 cents in China now. If you update 10,000 words a day, you will receive 27 cents. It can be said that children of several years old are not far behind from 2 cents and 7 cents. But for any author, writing a book is not easy. There are no vacations, huge work pressure, unreasonable insults from some garbage readers, chaotic work and rest, lack of sleep, etc. I would like to say a word for every coder who sticks to the computer. It is not easy for everyone. They spend their youth and blood in this online world and suffer the eyes of reality. Everyone knows how much blood and tears there are. If you love online articles, you shouldn't be stingy with these 9 cents. Piracy is still rampant in China, and the readers are the ones who are most in the dark and easily deceived. There are always people who think that reading books is a gift to the author. In fact, this is not the case. Even the most basic clicks are given to pirated websites. Unless you introduce others to read them, reading pirated books has no actual effect on the author. I have been writing books for several years now, and I am used to the darkness and violence in the online world. Sometimes, besides writing books, I really don't want to say anything else. Anti-intellectualism is very serious on the internet. The truth is not in the hands of knowledgeable and intelligent people, but in the hands of trolls and trolls, which is terrible. I have seen many weird statements over the years, but many people still believe them to be true and are really unable to explain them. I actually long to communicate with readers, but there is always a group of people standing in the middle, these keyboard warriors. Regarding this matter, I would like to say that if it is not a financial difficulty and I cannot afford a few dollars a month, I would like to ask all my brothers and sisters to support me. Now, for the madman, it is not about money. These days, I often think late at night, why do I write a book? What is the sense of accomplishment? Dream. I don't understand it, I just feel that this matter has been integrated into my life. There were a few days when I was so busy that I couldn't update, and I was so tired that I fell asleep in front of the computer. My family felt very distressed, but if there was anything I could do, I would be an internet writer, and I would dedicate my youth and blood to this in my life. There was no update in those few days, and I couldn't feel at ease. I always felt that I owed something. The latest chapter of Legend Lord. But then I thought, whose job doesn't have a day off, why can't I take a break? Still can't figure it out. In this world of online literature, as long as you don't work hard, some people will think that you have changed and you are not the same person you used to be. But, after all, people are not machines. After thinking about it for a long time, I still feel that it is enough to have a clear conscience. In the world of online writing, I have some experience. Now I understand that when writing a book, you have to write it for those who like your writing style. You just need to be worthy of them. The author should hide and use his works to communicate with readers without saying too much of himself. It's actually quite funny. Sometimes I feel very tired and wonder why I want to do this. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting excited, and I'm so excited about my story and characters that I even shed tears. I still dream about them because they have found the value of their existence. Yes, there are many people reading what I write. Crazy, are you still crazy? I have no idea. All I know is, write. I write until the end of time, until the seas and rocks rot, I write until the sky collapses, and I write until the sea changes. I want to let each character fly in the spiritual world and embody the limits of what I can imagine in these words. I think that one day, our Chinese myths and stories can also spread to the world. The United States, which has a blank history, has done it. Why can't Eastern culture? How great would it be if the movie world had our flying escapades, mustard seeds, and Sumeru, sword-wielding flying immortals, and the birth and death of all realms. A new book doesn't seem to be very easy, and few key characters appear. Please don't compare the 1 million word Tianji with the 10 million word Dragon Blood God of War. This is unfair. From today, I want to enter the best state I have ever been in, and write with my most passionate passion. Please give me a little time and trust. This fantasy world is a color that the real world does not have. Online literature is a magical work of the new era. It is fate that we meet here. I hope that you will accompany me throughout my life. I have no way to repay you. I just want to use more wonderful stories to move you and me. Many readers ask me why the book is called Tunchenji. The story of Xuanhuan ends, and everyone will know the next volume. The Monkey King is just the beginning. Let me introduce the recharge payment method to everyone. If you are reading on a computer, first search for 17K. First log in with QQ or something like that, and then you will see the recharge option in the upper right corner, and just follow the steps. Recharge 10 yuan and you can read for a long time. If you are using a mobile phone, either follow the crazy WeChat account Fengqinjiang 17K, or search for 17K on your mobile phone and log in with Tencent, then click on the personal center, you can see the recharge option, and it is most convenient to use WeChat payment and Alipay payment. Crazy's WeChat public account and QQ public account will release specific recharge methods, please pay attention. Recharge is very convenient, thank you for your help. For online literature, the most intuitive support is to pay for genuine reading. After it is launched, we will naturally work harder to give you a better reading experience. After 12 o'clock tonight, there will be 5 updates. Tomorrow, 10 chapters will be released in one day. It is expected that 400,000 words will be updated in May. Respect. Please. Look forward to it. April 30th, 2016.